Love and blessings on this new year. It is 2022. Today is the official 2-year anniversary of the beginning of my healing from cancer journey. So, for those who may be new to my channel, my name is Ife. I was diagnosed with ovarian and uterine cancer on January 1st, 2020. So let me kind of rewind because it wasn't an official diagnosis until about 2 weeks into my stay at the hospital. But on January 1st, 2020, I was told that what I was suffering from looked like it probably was cancer. And it turned out to be true. So cancer was first introduced 2 years ago today. And if you can always just check out my channel and you'll see that I was during my journey with chemotherapy specifically, I recorded a lot of videos to just kind of share my experience and in hopes of being a motivation to people dealing with challenges, people dealing with unexpected situations, people looking for hope, people who want to, who may be interested in seeing that a positive mindset can make a big difference. And so I decided to um, video record my perspective as I went through that process. Last year, what is this? Now it's 2022 because it's the first day. But in 2020, June of 2020, I finished chemotherapy and didn't do too many other videos after that until January 1st, 2021, which was my 1 year anniversary of my healing journey. And now, today, is my 2 year anniversary. So I don't know if I'll ever get back to a point of making videos as often as I was at that time, but it was put on my spirit to do it today. And so I am here today and just want to talk about where my life is at and how things have impacted me and why I still look at cancer as a blessing. So I was a teacher at the time when I was diagnosed. I stayed home because I went through chemotherapy and I didn't want to work at that time. Chemotherapy can be very taxing on the body, and also you just don't have any immunity, and it just wasn't wise for me to be in a school building. However, 2 months later, the pandemic happened and everyone came home with me because I was already home. And so it was an opportunity for me to actually be able to teach again. And so it was a blessing. And then fast forward to the next school year, September 2020, and teachers who had medical accommodations were able to stay home and teach remotely. And so it was a blessing because I was able to teach remotely and my children were able to stay home and learn remotely, which was a blessing. Um, then this school year, September of 2021, it was time for everybody to go back in person. And I did go back in person for a month. Well, actually, it was less than a month. It's about 3 weeks. I think it was about 3 weeks, maybe 3 weeks and a couple of days. And then I was let go because I was not vaccinated. And I was and am concerned about the effects of taking the vaccine, the long term effects of taking the vaccine when dealing with the health issues that I dealt with. And so I decided to not get vaccinated. And as a result, I lost my job. And so one could be like, oh, I could have easily looked at things like, why me? Why is this happening to me? What did I do? I'm just out here trying to, do the good work for the world. But instead, I said, all right, well, I guess my time was up at that school, and it's time for the next level in my life. I've talked about on this channel before my passion for community based learning. I'm an advocate for community based learning. I won't say the only one, but I know that there aren't enough people talking about it, and it's not happening enough, from my opinion. I think that it is a viable way for learning to become engaging for more students, a way to become more student centered, a way to allow students to use standards as tools to help to learn about and improve their communities. And so it's what I advocate for. And so once I was let go at my school, I said, well, maybe this is the time for me to just go ahead and start being a consultant. And so I've moved into that role more than I have ever before, and am able to contract and help some young people engage in community-based learning. So I'm very excited about that. And I think that this is the beginning of a journey of being a community-based learning consultant. And so I just still feel very blessed, even though it's a sad situation. I miss my students like crazy. There are definitely coworkers that I miss very much in the building, but I do definitely look at this as a blessing to be out here, um, and still be able to provide for my family and live more of my dream. This is something that in my head I kind of had maybe a few more years before I could get to the point of working with others, in consulting. So I'm here for the ride, I'm here for the journey. I'm also a student. I'm also a college professor, but I'm also a college student. I'm working on my doctoral degree. I don't think I probably talked about it in 2020 because I was working on my degree and then I had to take a break because it was too much trying to go through chemo and focus on a doctoral program. It was just I couldn't handle it. But I did decide in September to return to school. And so the goal is to be finished summer of this year, summer 2022. And so that's the plan, that is the focus. And so it's been a blessing too that I have been able to be home to be able to put more energy and focus and attention on my doctoral work, because it wouldn't have been the same. I wouldn't have been able to do it in the same way if I was still teaching full time. So it's things have been very blessed. I just wanted to come on here and talk for a little bit just about some of the things that I talked about over time when I was going through the chemotherapy. And so the first thing, well, I've talked about my life and just where I'm at, but just like on an emotional level, I I expressed in videos that cancer taught me how to be vulnerable, or more vulnerable. And so I'm thankful for that. And I've learned how to be more vulnerable with myself and how to be okay with not having to have it all figured out, not having to be strong 24/7. Um, that's very important for me. It's helped me to be able to learn how to allow more and how to let go and just kind of enjoy the ride. And one thing that has helped me, and it's very appropriate for today because I also celebrate Kwanzaa, and today is the last day of the Kwanzaa season. And today is Imani, which means faith. And so learning how to be vulnerable, learning how to go with the flow actually stemmed from my faith and my knowing that all is well and that things are going to work out. I do feel I have a particular calling. And so just having faith in all of that. And it allowed me to be like, all right, Ife, just go with the flow. And so there's been a lot of unknowns. When I was fired, I didn't know how, per se, I would take care of my children's needs, or just ensure over the long run. And all of that is not, figured out. Well, teaching was a very secure job, one would think, right? That's what I had always thought. It's a nice um, job with the government, has great benefits and all of these things. And, once you're tenured, you think you're good to go. And that uncertainty, you think there's certainty, but that it's not for certain. And I was taught that. And I've been shown even more how to just really move on faith, like on my knowing that all is well, on my knowing that if I've been given all of these ideas and experiences around community-based learning, that it's not just for play for me to just have some conversations about it and then it just die there. There's a specific reason, and there are things that I have been called to do, and I'm here to answer the call. And I'm excited about 2022. This is a new year, a new level for me, a new level for our planet. Things are just leveling up in ways that will continue to unfold. But the energy that I feel, I'm very excited about. And I'm taking this energy and utilizing it to continue to fuel my visions, the visions that have been given to me, which is ultimately global unity. I've talked about it, and that's still the case. I'm still very much team global unity and a healthy global unity. Let me be very specific. I'm about the healthy global unity where people are truly living fulfilled lives, and that compassion is the global culture. And so, even though people are different, there's a compassion for people and wherever they are at on whatever spectrum that is at play in that moment. And so, I'm doing my part, by working on my doctorates because it is in community-based learning, doing this research, collaborating with partners in the community, consulting with partners in the community, and I would love ultimately to get a school if that's where I'm led. I don't know per se if that's where I'm led. It does excite me to think about starting a school. So hopefully that will happen. If that's what it may be, it's better for me to help start schools, but not necessarily be the principal of the schools. But I do want to create schools because I want to see that holistic community-based learning model. I really want to put it in play, but I'm patient. I'm patient, and I'm just taking my steps as they unfold, just like I was 2 years ago, like I was 5 years ago, like I was 10 years ago, 15. So I still live this life and walk in this way, and just hold gratitude for what I have experienced, and keep the faith. Today's Imani, and I want to just give a shout out to Imani as the symbol of faith and what faith can do. Because if I didn't have it, um, I may be in a different situation right now. Worry could have taken me on a different trajectory and not allowed me to be at peace and maybe make choices under pressure. And so just want to talk about that. So that's where I'm at mentally also. I think faith speaks to that for me because it is a mindset, and it allows me to like I said, be at peace with whatever challenges, whatever, things that are going to sharpen my saw. That's the way I look at it. Pressure makes diamonds, they say. And so, I'm shining bright like a diamond as much as I can, and letting the pressure, looking at the pressure in that way. And so that helps me. That helps me to feel good, helps me to stay motivated, to stay inspired, and hopefully inspire others. As far as hot flashes, so I'll talk about some of the physiological things. I still get them. I'm getting one right now. So that's why it was easy to think about. The hot flashes are still there. I still take anastrozole, which is an anti-estrogen pill. So, I'm going through menopause. I do hope that 5 years is my max, which I do hear is typically the case. So I may have 3 years to go, but it may be able to get over it even sooner. Who knows? Like I'm open to that, but thankfully it's manageable. It's annoying because at times I like really am sweating like I was like doing cardio or something. I hope maybe it has the effects of cardio on my body. That would be a bonus, right? So, but I do still get the hot flashes, but I feel like I know how to manage them even more. I used to have a fan with me all the time. Now I kind of practice being present a little more than I used to when I get hot flashes. So that part is cool. Um, what else? My hair. So I still rock wigs. I don't know when that's gonna end. Out in public, at least. At home, typically, I have just no wig on because it's just my children. But I do not feel comfortable looking like that out in the world. It's no, it's just a comfort thing, and I'm okay with that. I've accepted that. Like it is what it is. This is more of the length. This wig is more of the length of what my locks were, my own natural hair, and I have decided to grow locks again in a different way. I'm kind of just experimenting right now with like free form locks, but my alopecia is still in full effect. I had hoped that it would not be. I hope that I could be a rare case of alopecia reversing, but it's still in full effect. It might be a little bit more. I know my eyebrows didn't grow fully back after chemo, and I feel like some of the areas around my hairline didn't grow back, or they grew back even less since chemo. So thankfully, they got wigs out here now that make me happy, like that are styles that I like because I like more of a, even though I had locks, but braids, kind of give me that same kind of natural hair look that I'm used to. So I appreciate that I'm able to find, and it's not easy. Let me say, I can't just go to a store. Any braided wig is a wig that resonates for me. Um, so I actually found this in Georgia and loved it enough to be like, well, let me get a second one because I hadn't been able to find anything in New York other than like the style that I already had, and I wanted something a little bit different. So that's where I'm at in the hair department. Um, I don't know what else. Like my weight, I still feel like chemo put weight on me, or maybe not the chemo, but the steroids that I had to take as a result of chemo. And so I'm definitely, I don't know, like 30 pounds, maybe more than I was when I first got out of the hospital after I was diagnosed with cancer. But I'm okay with it. I'm okay with that. Um, and what else? I don't know. I mean, I still have my support groups online, social media, ovarian cancer groups are a blessing to me still. And I enjoy because I think that sometimes I'm able to be a blessing to others as well. So that matters a lot to me. Um, my children are well, they adapted to the life. So yeah, they adapted. They adapted to the light. They know that sometimes I have hot flashes. Sometimes I have cold flashes too. At night is very annoying. I wake up several times still throughout the night because of hot flashes. So I'll just like wake up and throw the covers off, and then um, I keep them off until I get cold, and I throw them back over me, and then I fall asleep again. And it's like this is the cycle that I live. But I wake up well rested most of the time. I'm still an early bird. Still go to bed around 9 o'clock hour, and wake up usually by the 6 o'clock hour. So that's still in play. I am working from home. I don't think I did say that part, which is awesome. I do love it and wouldn't mind continuing to do that, especially the consultant side of me. Like I truly love this already. And this is only beginning. Once I finish with my doctorates, then I want to like really go full throttle with it, and I have my research on my back as to, this is community-based learning. Like let's um give this some real attention. Let's give this some real consideration. That's what I really want. But there are people who respect my ideas and philosophy around community-based learning, and I just hope to be able to just gather more and more people from the community that will support like a real movement of getting schools started. So to be continued in that area. It's obvious that's my passion because I talk about it. Like that's my way, at least that I see, of contributing to global unity for the next, like over the next 50 years, something like that. Then I kind of still want to get back into my life coaching, Mama Ife vibe, um, in the later half of my life, and still continue to contribute to global unity through talking about the things that I talk about right now, like still like about just faith and knowing and a positive mindset and compassion. But I'm definitely trying to instill all of those types of virtues and qualities and characteristics and mindsets into children now through the practice of community-based learning. So we're just going to keep on seeing what continues to unfold. And trying to think anything else cancer related. I'm healthy. Let me say that. Um, in remission, which I think I said last year about what remission, it doesn't really mean too much. Like a lot of people hear the term remission and think that it means cancer free. And it doesn't, even though I am, and nobody can tell me anything differently. No, the doctor could, but I'm not, there's basically with remission, nothing is growing. That's what it means. And they're not necessarily anything that they've seen, like the scars that things that spots that they've seen, the doctor said could be scars. And they haven't grown. And so they could be something else, but as long as they're not growing, that's the key. That's what it, means to be in remission, according to how my doctor explained it to me. My oncologist explained it to me. And so I'm in remission, and it is a great thing. It still is great news, but I know a lot of people hear that and think that it just means like there's absolutely no cancer in your body, and they're not saying that. But I definitely feel that that is the case for me, and I act like it's the case. That's how I move. I honestly, wholeheartedly feel like if I treated myself like, oh, I got cancer in me, and oh, I'm still sick, and I'm not well, then that would impact me. I feel like I probably would be feeling more sick, not necessarily having growing malignant cells or anything like that, but I think that it would have an impact on me and my motivation and my go-getterness and stuff. Like I'm still out here doing a million things every week. And I know a lot of people are like, you had cancer. What? Like, really? But I think, I chalk it up to Imani in mindset, you know. And so I just wanted to do a quick video. It's already been almost 25 minutes. And just say, I hope that everyone has an amazing 2022. I'm super optimistic about it. I think that we're going to see a lot of next levels unfold in 2022 in many ways, on individual ways, in community ways, but also as a global collective in healthy ways. And so there might be some challenges with that are necessary before we come out as butterflies. But that's the process. But I'm very optimistic about this year, and I probably won't make another video, but who knows? Maybe there'll be something that I want to talk about. But right now, my whole body's good. My mammogram has been fine. CAT scans have been fine. Like everything is good. I feel good mentally, physically, emotionally, spiritually. Um, I just love life, and I'm here for the ride. And um, yeah, there's a lot of things that happen. I've had a lot of interviews and was even in Time magazine and acknowledged as an American education hero. And so I feel good. Like I didn't let cancer be like I could have none of that stuff could have ended up happening because I could have just been like, I'm too sick. I can't talk to reporters. And that's no shade against people who do feel too sick to be able to do that because there was points where I couldn't, and I was real with that. Like first few days or week after chemo, there wasn't much I felt like doing. Sitting out in my gazebo was a plus. Just to be able to get out of the house, literally, and sit in my yard was enough for me to feel productive. Um, and I just had to I honored that, and I had to learn how to not feel guilty about it because I did at first, and that's fine too. Like I learned like to accept all of who I am. I am that I am, and so I have the joy, the pain, the happiness, the sadness, the fear, the faith. The faith is dominant though. But I acknowledge also that there are parts that still have fears, and that's okay. Like these are the things that make me whole, and it's the mindset that I have around it. It allows me to navigate the world, and enjoy the world more, and just I have a good news story that I tell myself. The quote from my father, this may not be exactly, but basically, the life I live is created by the story I tell. And he instilled that mindset in me, and I just I keep it, and it works for me. And so hopefully this video is a word of encouragement for someone out there who may be struggling with their imani and their faith in what they're called here to do. They're in their nia, which means purpose, another Kwanzaa principle. I'm not gonna turn this into a whole Kwanzaa lesson. I could though, just know, but I'm not. But life is good, and I'm very happy to be here, and super excited about 2022. And I hope that you all are too. Love and blessings, everyone.